Hello, welcome to InkSoft Academy. My name is Craig Mertens, Director of Product Education for Inktabo, the parent company of InkSoft, Printabo, Graphics Flow, and Sign Tracker. I have with me today our very special guest, Joel Taylor, one of our original, most experienced customer service managers in Inktabo and previously InkSoft. It's a real privilege to have Joel on the webinar today. Thank you for spending the time with us today to come and hang out. I know it's busy, you got a lot going on in your business lives, but you're obviously demonstrating a curiosity about what can be done in InkSoft and how do you better your skills and make more effective use of the platform. And that's what we're here today to deliver. The whole idea behind the webinar today is to showcase the new functionality that we've added and make a convincing argument as to why you should be using it in your daily life with InkSoft. There's so many great new things that we've added to InkSoft. A lot of folks just aren't necessarily tuned in to what they are. And Joel, does it feel pretty good when somebody's asking you how something works or to do something and it's like, wow, that's in a new feature? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, that's always nice because I get to go over it again, and the new features that we release are always really exciting.
And we're going to start off with a big feature. And the big feature we're going to start off with is store cloning. So as most of you know, you've all created stores. There's two general ways to create a store. You can go and create a store using the new store wizard. You just go over here and hit the old plus button, and you can put your URL in, name the store. You've got the little wizard guide step by step. And by the way, as you do that, if you use this technique, you can always save the presets so that you don't have to go and click on those same things every time. And just pointing one thing out here is you don't have to use our URL. If you're a little bit web savvy and you know how to substitute a domain into the store directory, you could have your customer, for instance, say easteaglesboosters.org, add a page /merch, and you could redirect your store to that particular page and it wouldn't have to display the InkSoft URL. And so that's something that's under domain settings. This is the way I think most folks are used to creating stores. But there's a better way, and that better way is with store cloning. And so what I've done in our demo account, I've set up store templates. And these templates are all stores that I started off with the new store wizard, but I built them out for very specific vertical markets. So for instance, I have what I call quick stores. I have a quick store template that's just kind of like my school store, standard layout in my school store. I have quick store templates for corporate. I have quick store templates for fundraising. I even did a holiday store. So these are templates that I plan on cloning. And cloning's kind of a fancy term for copying a store, but it actually has some additional benefits that you might not be aware of. We're going to talk about those in a second. Great for corporate stores. If I have just a corporate store layout and I want to clone this and swap out the logos and the colors and the banner and all of that and just populate a store just in a hurry, I can absolutely do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone a store. So I'm going to go back to my main store that I'd like to clone. And in this case, it's going to be the school store. And there's a couple really important things that you have to consider when you clone these stores. Number one is when you clone a store, you're going to be prompted to select if you want to include products and store art. And here's something very important about that. In InkSoft, you have a product catalog, and that product catalog are the curated collections of products that you assign to your catalog. So if you go in and add a product in InkSoft, it goes into your catalog. Incidentally, it doesn't have to be assigned to your main store. It can live in your catalog without being assigned to your main store. I think the thing that's confusing, Joel, it's automatically added to your main store. So I think a lot of times people get confused about that. Was that been your experience too?
It can be confusing. You add, let's say, everything from Sanmar, and then you go to your main store and you have 2,000 products on there, and you might not want that. So yeah, it can be a little confusing.
So you can always go back and remove those products from your main store and just have them in your catalog. So why do we do it that way? There's tens of thousands of products in InkSoft, and you might only use 100 or 50. So in your product catalog, you can curate it down to the ones that you most frequently use from the vendors that you most frequently use, and curate that particular catalog for things that you're going to commonly print. You can curate specific products for specific vertical markets. For instance, let's say you're doing the school market and 80% of your business is dry fit tee, dry fit hoodie, 80/20 crew neck, 100% cotton tee, 100% cotton long sleeve tee, maybe all from Gildan or all from Hanes. And those are the main products that you include in your school stores. And maybe you include a Richardson 112 hat and a tumbler. If you add that product to your store template and you put placeholder graphics on it, something really magical happens. And that is why you want to click this little button right here, include products and store art. Because what I've done with this store is I have gone in and curated all my school products, and we'll call this Central Cougars Fall 24. And we'll go and put that in there as my URL. And so all the products that are curated into my store template, and they could be different for every store template, are automatically going to get created in the new store, and they have placeholder graphics on them. So when I click on Clone Store, the copy of the store is being made. And what I want to do is go to Replace Art in Bulk. So this is pretty handy for school stores, but it's really handy for corporate stores, because in a corporate store, you might have 20 or 30 products that all have the same logo on them. So might be that pocket logo for a polo shirt that's an embroidery file, same logo possibly on a hat, and then just the traditional logo that's on all the t-shirts and fleece and things, and probably different locations. So maybe left chest, full front, doesn't matter. Because if I bulk replace this Eagles logo, and we're going to do that, I'm just going to click on Replace Art, and I'm going to upload a print file. I'm going to do exactly the same file here that is done for Central Cougars. So here's the really smart move. So many of you have the Graphics Flow platform. So if I went into Graphics Flow and I took this stock template and I made a version of it that was East Eagles, then I can go to Graphics Flow and click on that version I made, and then very easily in the stock art customizer, change it to Central Cougars. That's what I did. I saved it as a PDF file, so I could do just this. I can just open it in InkSoft and have it swap out all the products that had East Eagles on them with that very specific graphic. Same graphic could be a totally different graphic, but it's just going to swap them all out. So everything that had that other graphic is going to have this graphic. And I can do that ad infinitum. If I want to go over here and make it something totally different, and maybe I had 3 graphics in there instead of 4, I can do that too. So let's see, we'll go and add something very different from that original graphic. Hey, it's football season. Maybe we'll add a football graphic. Here we go. So we'll just add that. So now it's got a football graphic on it. So bulk art replacement. So it's changing all those products now to the football graphic. See, that's how it works. But you can do the same thing with embroidery. In InkSoft, when we import an embroidery file, we're going to import a DST file. And so DST files, it's a very primitive file format. And in a DST file, it doesn't track color at all. There's no color that's associated with DST files. What the DST file actually tracks is needle positions on the machine and color changes, or what some folks would call stops. And you'll see that in a second when I swap this out. I'm just going to click on the old replace art here, and I'm going to replace it with an embroidery file in DST format. And I'll just choose this file right here. Click on open. And this is the 2 stops. So this is actually a design that was set up to be 2 color. There's 2 stops in it. So we have stop number 1 is kind of that background layer, and stop number 2 is that foreground layer. And this one is set up for a dark substrate. Doesn't really matter what color I pick first, but I'm just going to select color. Maybe I use Madeira's palette all the time. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to use the Madeira Poly Neon palette, which is probably the most popular palette in our industry. Super white there. And then on the next part, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it red. And so I'm just going to type in red, and then we'll pick out this red here. And let's see, brick red, that's pretty bright. Kind of like that barn red there. But typically that's going to be indicated by your customer. Your customer is going to request that. Cool little power tip. If you are in the embroidery world and you're having embroidery that's being sent out in contract printed or contract sewn, if you just go into Google and type in Madeira Pantone, Madeira has a free Pantone color matching system, and you can put the Pantone number in and it will tell you the closest match to the Madeira thread. So I'm going to go ahead and click on upload here, and continue. And so now everything that had all those other logos miraculously has the new logo, except for this product right here, because it had a different graphic on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete that product so I don't need it. Now, something that may occur. So you might get in here and your school colors are not navy and red, maybe they're purple and red. You can always go into a product and click on it and then go over here to pricing and styles and edit design and styles, and then you can just add another color. So if I wanted to add, for instance, black to this, I can go and add black. And so now I've got it in ash, black, and navy. So I'm just going to create a new colorway for the black version. So I'm going to go to view colorways. I'm going to create a new colorway. And I'm going to take all the navy right here, and I'm going to make that into a gray. I think that's going to look better on the navy too. So I'm going to click on this color right here and make sure that's got the right one on it. So we're going to click on that. I go to the navy, click on that. And then I'm just going to hit apply changes. And that's how you update the colors for a product in a cloned store. Now,
just check the boxes to the left of each product you want to replace artwork for. And then use your blue 3 dots there. And then edit product details.
Replace art in bulk. So I could take just these 2 products, replace those with a different graphic if I want to. So I would just pick the new graphic and replace it. So that's basically the idea behind it. So you don't have to do it when you create a product, or a store. You can do it with just products in general. So let's say the store is already created and you created a corporate store and they had a brand changeover, and so they made some subtle change to the brand. You could use that to swap out all the logos within that store. We've got our store, but we have some products picked out, but we're going to have a big issue here. So you ready? Style editor. That's got all the Cougar stuff on it. And by the way, all the products that are curated for this store are not necessarily going to be displayed in the store. So I only have 6 products displayed. These are kind of my popular ones, but I have a lot more products loaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Style Editor and we're going to start localizing these colors. So I'm going to go up here to promo bar, hit the old edit, and I'm going to change that to white. So I'll change that to white. The blue's still working, but this needs to be red. So I'm going to go over here and hit the old edit button. Actually, let's make that white too. If you make your stores, all your backgrounds to your products white, it makes it a little bit easier to do this because you don't have to do as much switching around. So let's go and change that to white. So that kind of matches up with the colors because we don't have the gold anymore. And the other thing I want to do is change out this banner. So I'm just going to hit the old edit button here and remove the existing banner. And I just happen to have a similar banner for that school. So I've got some art that I created. And here it is right there. Hit the old open button. And I think we're good, except I'll save that. We need to change the logo out. So the logo doesn't get changed in the actual style editor. The logo actually gets changed under branding in the admin area. So I saved this. So we've saved all this stuff over here. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to store admin and I'm going to click on the little cog icon. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the branding. So I'm just going to go to store branding and replace all this stuff. So we're going to replace that with the East Eagles version right there with the Central Cougars. Replace that. I've got a little icon here too. Joel, has that been your experience that PNG works the best for this?
PNG, and then there's like a little pixel recommendation on there. It's generally good to match that.
Yeah, it does give you a little tip on there. 128 by 128. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the store preview. Can you talk a little bit about what the store preview is all about?
Yeah, so if you're just going to paste like your storefront link to Facebook or Twitter or something like that, it's just going to pull in that store preview image directly to your post. So you don't have to drag in an image to that. It just makes it a little bit smoother for you.
Save and publish. We've got the branding done. We've saved and published. And we want to see what that store is looking like. 2 ways to do it. If we want to go in here and actually see it as the customer would look at it, it would be under storefront view. If we still plan on doing some edits, we'll come over here. And one edit that you'll probably want to do if you're going to load a fundraiser, you're probably going to want to reset that. So I'm just going to click on goal setting over here, and I can see this one is timed out. When you're using a store template and you have a fundraiser that's a module that's built into it, and you clone it. It's possible that that fundraiser is already timed out based on the dates that you put into it, but don't worry about it. Two ways to handle that. Number one, you could actually just delete it and re-add it and put in new data, but you don't need to do that. Just go over here and click on edit. And then once you click on edit, just hit the goal setting over here and you can reset all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push a date out here to, let's see, we'll make this expire on the 30th right there. Hit done. And by the way, you can have the store, when it expires to actually have it shut down. And one of the little sales techniques I hear clients do, which is very clever, they'll shut the store down for a couple of weeks, and then they'll actually reopen it with a limited amount of products. And sometimes, like if you order transfers in, you have some extra transfers. I'll go into store admin. I'll go over here to active products. I'll hit the old add product to launch the rapid product creator. This part of the interface got updated a while back. And so I don't know if you notice, there's two buttons here. You have the add from pre-decorated. So these are all the products. It's pretty much anything I've ever made in the history of my account is in here. And so I can go in and search for anything that's already pre-decorated and it's already been made in the rapid product creator. If the product hasn't been created yet and you're creating it for the first time, then you have the new products option. So I want to show you something as it relates to that replace. If I go and upload yet another new graphic, and I'll upload something from the side, and you notice I'm uploading a PDF file. So why a PDF? Here's why. Because the PDF file, in this case, came from Graphics Flow, or if it came from Illustrator or CorelDRAW, it has the vector data in the actual file. And that's what enables me to use the recoloring function in InkSoft to make a colorway. If it's a PNG file, you'll get a message that says colorway is disabled, because it's not going to let you pull the vectors out and recolor them because there's no vectors in there. Now, there is one exception to that, and I'll show you what that exception is real quick. I'm going to upload another file, and I'm going to upload a file that has a weathered effect. See if I've got something that has a weathered effect. I believe that one does. So when I upload a file that has a weathered effect, even though the graphic is vector, the weathered effect is a bitmap that sits over the surface of the graphic that creates that effect. And so that's going to automatically punch out colorways not supported. So if you have any graphic that has a weathered effect, you're going to have to pre-color it in your graphics app, because colorways aren't going to be supported if there's a bitmap in there. And that does come up once in a while. So we'll just hit the old done button there. I'm not going to spend any more time on store cloning, but I definitely wanted to dip into it a little bit. And I want to show you something else that's really important. And if I go into proposals here, if I have a customer that's linked to a store and I use proposals to create a quote or an invoice for them, any commerce that they do will automatically be logged into their customer account. We used to call it the end user shoppers portal, and people really didn't connect with that terminology. So we just kind of rebranded it as the customer portal. But let me explain why that's important. You have to make it easy for your customers to buy from you. They have InkSoft, but they're invoicing out of QuickBooks. And I'm like, why are you invoicing out of QuickBooks? Well, InkSoft doesn't have an invoicing feature. Well, that's what proposals is. It's an invoicing feature. It just happens to be called proposals, and I think it causes a lot of confusion for people. If you're invoicing out of QuickBooks, you know what you're having to do? If you're going to provide a mock-up, you're going to have to do that in your graphics program. You can do that right in InkSoft. If you want to get product information and price things out, InkSoft's going to do that for you with the Rapid Product Creator. You're doing that manually over in QuickBooks or your accounting system. Coolest part about InkSoft is when you're all done invoicing it, it'll sync all your financial data back to QuickBooks. You should be invoicing in your InkSoft account using the proposals function. I'll just go and create a new proposal real quick. I'm going to add a customer. I'm going to add a customer that was already linked to East Eagles Boosters. And there's two ways that Greg was linked to East Eagles Boosters. Number one, Greg checked out of the store. So he went in and checked out. Number two, he was somebody that I assigned as the store admin. When I created the store, you have to pick an admin. And that's associated, Greg, with this particular store. So you could create your own user account for a specific store as well. So what's the advantage of having Greg associated with this store? Here's the advantage. Any order that's placed here is going to go into his account. He has his own account. He has his own portal. It's just like Amazon. When you log into Amazon and you see all the orders you've placed other places, along the way and you need to reorder something, you can do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and add a product over here. We'll just add that cap again, hit next. And we'll put some quantities in there, 24, and add it. And I can go over here and override it. So maybe I get a little bit better deal and I want to pass that along to the customer. I can go and override that pricing there. We're going to save it. I'm going to go into my account. I go into that store and I'm logged into my account. So if let's pretend I'm the end user right now. I'm going to go in that store and let's say I'm logged in, like I'm maybe end user, I'm buying something with the designer. Maybe I've checked out and shopping, or maybe I'm the store admin. If I go into my account, and if I'm logged in and I go over here and hit my account, some things are going to happen. And first thing you're going to see is something that's new. This is a store view that's tailored to the end user experience. So there's a version of this store performance dashboard that's for you, so you can see some additional details. We're hiding things that customers, we don't want them to see, like costs and things like that. But there's a fundraiser set up in the store, so the customer can see how much money's been raised, if there's coupons being used, if there are any gift cards being used. They can see their most recent orders. They can see what their top products are from the last 60 days, and they can change that for most sold to least sold. Let's see what least sold is. Some tumblers say we don't have any action on the bumper sticker either. So they get some basic visibility on there, and it's creating kind of more like that Amazon-like experience. So that's kind of the first thing the customer is going to see. If they have any quotes that are out that haven't been converted into orders yet, this would be a great way to nudge them. You just send a little email that says, hey, log into your account and click on quotes and go ahead and approve that quote and pay for that for me. Orders, here's all the order history. Here's the canceled order. Here's one that's in process. There's probably one that's been completed and shipped. Yep. So if they go over here to order details and they're like the busy human resources person from the company or the school front office and they want to reorder, guess what? They don't have to call you. They can just go over here and say, hey, I just want to reorder this and update it, go to checkout and pay. They don't have to talk to you at all. They could also just do a reorder request, and they don't necessarily have to do that whole commerce experience. So it's really kind of up to the customer. But what you've done is you've created that Amazon-like experience. People that are really successful in our industry are the folks that made it easy for people to buy. If you're competing against another shop in the area and they have this portal where their customers just log in and initiate a reorder and they have to talk to you or come in with a chicken scratch or an email that might get lost, I think it's going to be hard to compete with that. How do you compete in the marketplace when pricing is such a central thing to competition? And I think one of the ways you do it is making it easy for your customers to buy from you, whether it's through e-commerce or reordering through the customer portal. One of the things that we did is we showcased how you can take designs, whether you created them from CorelDRAW or Adobe Illustrator or whatever your graphics app of choice, or in this case, these are all graphics flow designs. And you can actually link directly to this design and you can let that customer name drop it. I think this is one of the very best use cases for the InkSoft Designer. Not necessarily just having the customer upload their own art and get a quote, but having the customer come in here and click onto a design with their school, with their colors, all of that, and then maybe just change the sport or just add seniors in here, and then they can get a quote and check out. So basically the way we did that, I imported everything but this from Graphics Flow. So I went into my Graphics Flow account, I created the design, I turned off this text, I looked at what the font was, because the Graphics Flow fonts, the majority of them are in InkSoft as well, so you can match them up. And I just brought this into this shirt in the designer. I just went into my admin account, picked the shirt, imported just this. Then I went over to the text tool, and I just typed in Insert Sport. I matched the colors up with the colors that were in the actual graphic, so make that gold. And I used a script font because I thought a script font was going to look pretty good. So went down here. Customer can change the font too, but I just want to use the script font in there. The really cool ones are the DAS ones. And I saved the design. When you save a design in the designer, it's going to go into designs as admin created, but it's not categorized. What I did, that was really important, is I grabbed the sharing link. So I grabbed that sharing link and I just copied it into Notepad so I had the link. And then what I did is I went to the next step and I just clicked on the shirt and I screen captured this. And I use a little snipping tool that's built into Windows. Mac has one too. And I just screen captured this and saved it as a PNG file. And then I used content block. I went over here and I hit manage content and I imported the thumbnail in there. And then you just highlight over the thumbnail and put the URL in. That's all you do. Highlight over the thumbnail. And when they come in stacked. So they're going to come in stacked one on top of each other. If I go over here and go to break text, as soon as I go over here to inline, it's going to put them in line. One of the things that I did with this is I took this HTML code right here and I brought it into ChatGPT, and I had it actually create the size that I wanted and the spacing between each one. And I had ChatGPT actually align them across the middle. But ChatGPT is fantastic for formatting these content blocks. You can do all kinds of cool things with it. But that's just something you can do within InkSoft. And in this particular store, some of the other things that I've done in this store, I created this name droppable back of shirt layout. So if you want to have somebody put their kid's name on there, you can do that. If you want to have somebody come in and order patches, I just took this design. It was in Graphics Flow. I brought it into my embroidery software, converted it to a patch, brought the PNG version of the patch in here, used the text tool in InkSoft, saved it in there. And then so a customer can name drop patches. And then what I did, I just put a little disclaimer. It says, and I could put that under the hat too. It said the customized lettering on this finished product will be embroidered. So they know that the net result is embroidery, but allows them to submit the art. And then I would just take it over to my embroidery software and keyboard the lettering in. And over here, I just put some grad signs in here. They want to go name drop grad sign, some promo products in here from the feed, and then I even put a decal in here. Those are some of the really neat things you can do with the Designer and InkSoft and just using that sharing link in the content block. So next thing I want to talk a little bit about is pickup fees. So we order in from our suppliers all the time. We don't always get free shipping. And so sometimes we have to pay for that shipping. And so we want to be able to pass on a handling charge or shipping charge to the customer, but we don't have an easy way to transparently do that without just adding kind of like a generic fee. We just want to be able to formally add it as a pickup fee. And you guys don't have the ability to do that. So that's something that customers have just been persistently asking for. If I go into the store and I go to pickup methods, and you notice I have one pickup method in here, and we can add another one. If I add a new pickup method and I put in, the name, we'll call this front parking lot, you'll notice a different behavior here. Because when I go over here and say pricing, this is new, you can pick a pricing matrix. So like for me, I'm just going to pick item count. And I'm going to say from 1 to 24 units, we're going to charge $10. That's fair. And then I'm going to add a pricing row. And then once they get to 11, I'm going to charge them $15. And then once they get to, 50, I'm going to charge them max amount at $20. You can add this to your pickup method. So you can still just add pickup methods, but you can add this to your pickup method so that you can formally charge for this when the customer comes and picks it up. So you can pass along some of those handling charges or shipping charges to your customer. Joel, do you hear other use cases from customers regarding pickup methods?
Yeah, some people deliver and they want to charge a delivery fee. So they just have like a delivery, they title their pickup method delivery and they'll charge a flat $5.
We added the pickup fees function, and something else we did is we added a functionality, and this was another one that was heavily requested, a functionality for doing product lists. And so if I go into store admin and I go to store products, and I just want to see everything that's in this store that I've loaded, what I can do is I can just go to this little button now and I can select a report. So I can say product list CSV, and I can select two different types of reports, and they're displayed what they actually are. In here it says simple product report. This will show you a summary of each SKU in a single row. You will not see pricing, inventory, weight, or other details unique to sizes and colors. So I can go over here and download that one or a detailed product report. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the simple pricing report. I'm going to actually add blank products that are assigned to this store, and I'm going to download that list here, and I'm just going to put it in my downloads. We'll just call it test simple report. And now that I have that report, it's going to be in my downloads folder, and I can just open it up in my spreadsheet program if you have an Excel or you're using another program, or you copy it into Google Drive, then you can just open it straight up into Google Sheets. But here's your report. And so it's got lots of data in it. You've got the product name, what the SKU number is, when it was created, who the manufacturers are, suppliers, any kind of keywords you have associated with it. You have just a huge amount of data. And then also the product descriptions are all located over here. You have an easy way to just kind of take a look at everything that's in your store, and then you can use this to review with your customer and saying, hey, here's all the products in your store. Maybe we want to kind of curb this a little bit and knock it down to maybe the top 20. I'm going to send you over this spreadsheet. If you don't mind taking a look at it, just telling me which ones you want to keep, just add a column over in the spreadsheet and just put keep in there, and then we'll go update your store. So it's a great way to get some visibility on your store. I'm going to download the other report format so you can see what that looks like. And the detailed one, we'll download that. And the detailed report is more detailed. Same bit of information here, but as you start coming across here, you're getting every setting that's associated with that product. So when we were looking at the settings and we actually clicked on the product in the store admin, this is everything that's in there. What report you pick is going to be informed by what information you need. So I think it's always just a good idea to download it. And another, handy tip, if you copy that CSV file into your Google Drive and you're running Google Sheets, once it's in Drive, you can just click on it, open it straight up in Sheets, which is great. So you don't have to have Excel. That is how the new downloadable product list feature works. And another one that's new, which was by popular request, if I go in and cancel under the old software and I go and try to cancel this order, okay, I got just preset drop downs in here. It's just whatever we had. And there was no way to really communicate with the customer something that's personal to them, why you're canceling the order. It was just, you're kind of just stuck with it. And so what we did is something very clever. We provided a generic cancellation template right here. This is just generic. So we added a generic template that you can customize. So if I click on this, obviously I can notify the customer of the cancellation. That's not really new. But what I can do is I click on View, Edit, Email. I can create a template and save it. So if I want to create a template that says order canceled due to vacation, because I'm going on vacation and I just don't want to deal with your order, I can do that and put that in the message there. And I can update all the body of the text in here. And so so word processor, you can go and update all this stuff, including the logo and all that. And then if I want, I can save this as a template, okay, so that I have another order canceled due to vacation. Or if I just want to do it as a one-off, I can do that too. So the way you save it as a new template is you just click on this and say save as new template. And then you can apply this to multiple stores. So if I want to make that template available for all my stores, I can just do a select all or maybe just this store. It's just kind of up to me. Reiterating, we can use just the generic template and just do this as a one-off. So if I do that and say finish viewing and editing, it's just a one-off. It's not saved. If I click on that and I have it, I can say that as a brand new template that says ordered canceled due to vacation. It's up to me. And so it's just a great way to personalize the order canceling process. You can save as many templates as you want. You can assign different templates to different stores, but it's really a slick little feature. In your store, if I I'll just go into my main Circus Print store, and I'm going to go to my store admin and click on the old cog here, checkout settings, abandon email cart. So I can set up a sequence. So I'm going to set it up after day 1, day 3, and day 10. What will happen is if somebody's in the InkSoft Designer or they've checked out through a product, they just went to the store, they picked a product, they got all the way kind of through the cart level, and they just saw the price, for whatever reason, they just decided to bail out. What will happen is if the product is in the cart and they bail out, it's going to automatically send them 3 emails saying, hey, we noticed that, you had this product in the cart and you didn't purchase. And, I can go and personalize a message if I want to, do a follow-up email or whatever I want to do. And it says, hey, here's a link to the cart to continue checking out. Well, I've also captured this. So I've captured this data. So if I just want to send them a personal email, if somebody goes and they save a piece of artwork in the Designer, so let's just talk about the Designer specifically, and they go and save a piece of artwork in the Designer, if they're logged into their account, I'm going to get an email that's going to notify me that this customer has gone in and saved something, a piece of art. Well, we're going to leave that here. Saved design notifications. And that's why you want to have that turned on under store notifications. So all that means is when they're in the Designer and they're logged into their account and they save a design, but they never do anything with it, they don't even have to go to the cart. All I have to do is save it. We're going to capture that information and send you an email that says this customer with this email saved this design, and it gave you the ability to follow up with them. It's not going to identify it any other way. It's just going to send you an email. So I always recommend turning that on. And I certainly recommend turning daily order summary on, because that's probably the best part of your business day, is coming in the morning and seeing all that money you made while you were sleeping last night. So that's a good thing to do. But what we're going to do here is I'm just going to go back over to the order manager, and we're going to click on orders. Here's all my orders, and here's all my stores, and here's all my abandoned cards. Now I have all the information on this gentleman right here, and I have his email, and I can just email the customer. I saw you were in the store and you didn't check out, and I could drop a promo code in there if I want. So if I want to go and edit this template and put a promo code in every single one of these, I can do that. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. I believe we go down here to marketing, email templates. Here's my personal store here. Here's my abandoned cart template right here. And if I want to drop a coupon in every single one of those and saying, hey, here's a promo code with 10% off.
You set up a discount code, it's per store, but you could, in theory, set up a gift certificate that could be used in any store.
If I'm going to set up a promo code, what I'm going to do is go back to InkSoft Core. So I could create a promo code just specifically for that store. These are all the active ones, and then I can also go and create a new one. That promo code could be a % discount, a fixed discount, like $5 off, percentage, pretty much whatever you want. You can identify it. You could put in a descriptor, win back. Maybe you have customers that you haven't ordered for a while, and you want to send out an email with a promo code saying, hey, on your first order, you get for $10 off, whatever you want to do. We also added credit card surcharging. If you want to pass along the credit card processing fee up to 3% to your customer, you can do that through the new credit card surcharging functionality that's been implemented into InkSoft. Now, with that being said, there's a couple caveats. Credit card surcharging has to be available in your state. You have to consult your state regulations to make sure that it's available. And then also there is a process that you have to go through with the credit card processor to register that. That's for MasterCard. So what I wanted to show you guys is if I just go over to the main InkSoft YouTube channel, there's playlists in here, and those playlists are all kind of tied to more or less themes. If you want to watch the Trend Watch webinars we do with SNS Activewear, you can do that. But the ones that I feel like are the three most important ones is, number one, InkSoft best practices. I would just go and bookmark this one. A lot of the power user tips and advice and neat things you can do with InkSoft that you might necessarily not be able to figure out on your own, those are all going to be located in this particular playlist. And this is where I collect ideas. Customers will come to me and they'll be like, hey, listen, how do you do this? Or can I do this? And Joel and I will figure out how to do it, and then we'll collab on a video and we'll put that in there. So that's a really important playlist right there. And if you want to learn store cloning and how to use proposals and assign them to stores with the end user shopper portal, then the other one that's really important, especially if you're brand new, all these great videos that Joel did, the main one is this Getting Started playlist. And Joel recorded an entire series of these great videos on all the basic kind of get to know InkSoft functionality. That's a great playlist. Two other excellent playlists that are in here. Archive of this series right here, which is the InkSoft Academy series. So if you go over to playlists and you look at the InkSoft Academy playlist, that's where all of these go. And also the other one is new features. So this feature update, anytime we do a new feature, you're getting a little email that you're probably going to ignore. But if you subscribe to the InkSoft YouTube channel and also Printavo and Graphics Flow, you're going to stay tuned of anything new that we're doing. Anytime there's a new feature, our marketing team does a great job putting together a feature brief. I take that feature brief, build it into a script, and then really deep dive and learn the functionality so I'm really comfortable with it. And then we record a video. And that's how I learn new features. But that goes into this playlist. If you follow InkSoft YouTube channel, and especially if you subscribe to it, you'll be notified anytime we post a new video. I think there's a lot of really good, worthy information in here. But the main thing I wanted to do is show you where to watch the video on surcharging so you can see how that works. you just go into the InkSoft new features playlist. So here's store cloning, all the new functionality that we've added to the platform, including the surcharging video. Joel, thank you so much for joining me on the webinar today.
Of course.
And we will see you all on the next InkSoft Academy.